Hey, welcome back to the Gargoyles Den Diecast. I'm Gargoyle, of course. Today we're going to be back for part 2 of my Las Vegas SuperCon saga. We're going to call it SuperConned at this point, but we'll see how it turns out. This is not a bashing video. Remember I said that in the first one. This is not going to be about bashing. It's about helping and giving ideas. So, with that being said, I had a terrible weekend, and on the ride back Monday, I decided I was going to email them. So that's where we're going to start this. So, middle of the night that Monday night, it was about 1 o'clock on Tuesday morning, I think it was. Actually, yeah, 1:40 a.m., according to this paper, is when I sent my first message, my first email to Eventbrite, which evidently Eventbrite is part of toyconventions.com. Or they forward it to toyconventions.com. I don't know. I don't know which one it is. Because, yeah, like I said, these are the emails I got back. They don't have anybody's name on them. And it always says from toyconventions.com, but it doesn't say anybody's name anywhere in here. And nobody ever gave me their name that I remember of. So, yeah, like I said, I don't know who I talked to. It could have been 10 people. It could be one person. But we're going to go over what I sent them and the responses I got back. And you're going to see how things spiraled, and hopefully you'll understand why I've been so upset. But like I said, I've got boxes here. They said they were sending me the cars. We're going to open the boxes and see what they sent. Because they sent me the first box, which I was led to believe was the 2 cars that I was missing. And we'll go over what happened in the notes and where they agreed to send them. But then, like I said, I picked up the mail on my way home just a little bit ago. I hadn't made this video yet. That's why the other box is still sealed, because I wanted to open it on the camera to show you guys that I got the cars and everything. And you guys can see my reaction, because, yeah, I'll be happy I got the cars. Then I got the second box today. And I don't know what's in it. Because as far as I know, the cars that I'm missing were in the first box. But I was kind of a jerk in here, and looking at the first box that I got, it says March 2nd as the date on the box. So that's the day that I sent them my message. Did they send me the cars out right away and nobody bothered to write it down? And nobody bothered to reply and tell me that? Because, yeah, they messaged me back. It's still making it sound like I wasn't getting the cars, but a box of cars got mailed out on that day. I don't know. Something doesn't add up here. So I don't know if maybe the second box was an extra set of cars that they thought I still hadn't gotten them, or that nobody had mailed them because somebody didn't record it for them on the second when they sent them. Or did they send me a box with some different car in it as an apology of some sort? Maybe there's a note in with it or something apologizing. I don't know, because honestly, that was one of the things that bothered me about all this. I never talked to a human through all this. And mind you, it took 2 weeks after to get all this cleared up. And there's quite a few messages in here. And I still never talked with a human. And I never got an apology of any sort. And that was kind of a big deal to me. But out of everything, the biggest deal? No, not getting the cars. The biggest part was when they made me feel like they thought I was a liar. Because that once again brought up the childhood stuff. You know, I was never good enough. No matter what I did, it was never good enough. You know, I would try to do good in school. There are times that I got straight A's. You know, that's pretty good for a kid that comes from the trailer park. You know what I mean? You know, pretty good for a kid that's lived homeless in a burned out mobile home in the middle of winter because he ran away because he's getting beat on. You know, but it was never good enough for my mom. No matter how hard I tried, it wasn't good enough. So then, I got sent off to kids' homes. And eventually, like I said, my life was pretty shitty up until 17, but then I turned 17. I got out of the last kids' home that I was in. I got to come home for my senior year of high school, only to have my mom tell me that when I turned 18 in June, on my 18th birthday, that I was kicked out. So yeah, I had 8 months to get my life together, get a job, save up some money, and figure out what the hell I was going to do. Yeah, it wasn't great. So yeah, that's why my bipolar kicks up its ugly head sometimes, and I have a reaction like I did. All right, now let's get to the messages because yeah, that pretty much explains most of it. Messages I'll read through real quick, and there are a couple highlighted messages that I'll talk about. I said you never say to a customer, but you guys will understand that I'm sure when we go through all this. So let's go through and see what questions they had after I explained to them what happened to me from my view. All right, my original message says, my wife and I were at the 2025 Diecast SuperCon and have several issues that need to be addressed. We paid $180 each, which we were led to believe was the 4-day pass with finale car, and we purchased Hall of Honor ceremony dinner as well. But I was informed when I was asked about the entry car that we weren't qualified to receive one. Now, pause. Disclaimer. This was part of my problem, I think. It shouldn't have mattered that I did this, but I said entry car. Evidently, that was a big deal to them because they didn't do any tickets with entry cars this year. They didn't call it entry, they called it the finale car. But at the same time, that never should have mattered because we showed her the ticket that showed what we paid for and what was on it. And she would have saw that it was a finale car in the dinner car. So yeah, she still told us we weren't qualified for some reason. She should have caught that. But yeah, as you can see at this point, I was still calling it the entry car. I didn't even realize it was called finale car until after I came home and messaged him. And then she never said anything about the finale car, but we showed her the actual receipt that she was supposed to be verifying. So, all right. So, I was informed when I asked about the car that we were qualified to receive one and that it was sold out too. That was the part where she told my wife, when my wife went back in and asked if there was anything she could do, she told her it was sold out and there's nothing she could do. So where's the 2 cars I was supposed to receive on entry? I'm not qualified? It says, your event for the next year says the entry car 2 in the $180, talking about the $180 VIP ticket. They've got the same thing listed on their website for next year. The only thing that was different was the date. For next year's, it was switched to 2026 already. And this is the day after SuperCon, remember. So yeah, they'd already switched the date on the SuperCon, but they hadn't switched anything else. So then the issues where our table of 12 people sat here over 3 hours without ever getting up to place a drink order despite requesting to numerous times. One waitress to serve 400 people drinks all at once. It says, I'm impressed the waitress didn't quit considering she was alone on drinks, but there's a dozen waiters delivering food. And there's all kinds of waiters delivering food. When we got sat, there was salad, it was a pass-around salad or whatever, buffet style, sitting on our table already. Some of the other people were already starting to eat. The very first tables, the gold and elites, they were already getting steak brought out to them by the time we got sat down. So yeah, that was kind of frustrating too. We haven't even got sat down yet. They're already ordering steaks, and we never even got to order a drink the whole night. So yeah, that sucked. So I said, I would appreciate contact and would like to see if this could be explained and resolved satisfactorily. Resolve this. Now, when I said resolve this, I wasn't trying to be rude right here. I had edited the last sentence, and for some reason that popped up. Originally it said something about, let's see what we have to do to resolve this. And then I said, see if this could be explained/resolved. Because I didn't know if it was going to really be resolved or not. But at least it wanted some kind of explanation for why this happened. That was my goal and intent at this point. Because I really didn't think I figured I'd been super conned at this point, and I wasn't ever going to get the cars. So, keep that in mind when we're going through the rest of this messages still. So I sent that. That was at 1:40 a.m. Same day. Quick response. I'll be honest, I was surprised. I was happy because, yeah, I'm livid at that point again, and I'm sitting here thinking about it constantly. You know, that's the bipolar that kicks in and my OCD and stuff. I know my issues. So, yeah, when I received a reply a few hours after getting up, because, yeah, I went to bed after that, and then by the time I got up, it was 8 or 9 o'clock. And I read this. Hi, James. In your email, you stated you purchased a ticket that included the dinner in the finale car. There wasn't a ticket that was offered with an entry car. Okay, well, first thing is I didn't say dinner and finale. I said dinner and entry. But I know what he's getting at this point, and I think you guys do too. He's saying there wasn't a ticket where it was called the entry car. But he had figured out already that I was supposed to get a finale car. The finale car was issued on Saturday. This is another part that you do not say to a customer. As it always has been for many years at 2 different times. You'll see why you don't say that to a customer here in my response here in just a minute. There wasn't an entry car offered. Okay. Now, it shows you redeemed both your dinner car and your finale car. I was told I didn't qualify and I was never getting a time. So how do they have that I have one of each? Because I was never given a finale car. And I've already told you the story about the dinner cars. So how does he even know I have a dinner car other than me telling him? How's it written down that I have a dinner car? They didn't know my name. That guy didn't know our name. All he had was the 2 tickets we handed him that didn't have no names on them. So yeah, I call bullshit on this. It shows you redeemed both your dinner car and your finale car. Somebody lied. Somebody out and out lied right there. Because there's no way you could have had that written down. I never got the finale car, and the dinner cars you were keeping track of at the dinner. You took the ticket and handed out that number of boxes. And we got ours before our table went up because they were still waiting on the silvers. The rest of our table that wasn't already up there was all basic VIPs like us. So yeah, there was no way that you can say that you guys, that it showed that we redeemed a dinner and a finale. You never gave us a time or place for the finale. And you never recorded the dinner ones while we were there. So yeah. And this is, you didn't purchase separate tickets. No, it was all part of the same package. That's why we showed her the package said paid in full, and it said on there what the cars were. And it even said all the other stuff that was available to go do with the package. But the cars was the main thing. That was the whole reason I came up here, was those 2 sets of cars and parts. And by the time I came home on Monday, I had a few sets of wheels. I did buy a few things from HHW, but it wasn't, nothing spectacular. I bought a couple motors just to kind of scab into cars. They weren't really universal motors. They weren't meant to be, but I'm going to make them work. And then, of course, I bought the 2 motorcycles, and I bought a small selection of wheels from him. I didn't buy any more from Sam Ed because I had just gotten $90 worth from Sam Ed a couple weeks earlier. But I did buy some from HHW just to show my appreciation for him to be in there, even though I didn't need any wheels. Trust me, I've got all kinds of them from AliExpress and Sam Ed. I didn't need them. But those of you who know me and watch the channel know that if I'm going to spend money on something, I would much rather spend it on somebody within the hobby that is trying to support their hobby or pay their bills by supplying stuff for the hobby. I will buy my stuff from that person first, even sometimes if it's more expensive. I'll still buy it from them first before I'll go buy it elsewhere at full price. Just for that reason. So yeah, I was happy to spend money at HHW and get the motorcycles and the few wheels and motors that I did get. And if he gets future stuff, yeah, by all means, check out his website and stuff. Order something from him. I was happy with what I got. It's just that he doesn't have everything that I'm looking for yet. So I may still check into getting a 3D printer of some sort. That's my channel growth, though. All right. So that pissed me off. This goes to the hotel stuff. Now, keep in mind, you're going to see my response to the next sentence. These were not people working for me. Yes, I'm a former restaurant manager. Yes, I know that it wasn't handled correctly and that she should add more help. I know that. Well, here's the response I got from them. And yeah, this kind of upset me too. We will pass along your feedback about the hotel staff. Those individuals do not work for us. They work for the hotel. Okay, keep that thought. Anything outside of what is provided for dinner is not something they are able to do. If you are attempting to order mixed drinks or soft drinks, they always direct attendees to go to the bar in the restaurant to place those orders. Bullshit. I'm calling bullshit again. That's twice now in the first email that somebody's out and out fucking lied to me. That you don't do to your customers. You can call gaslighting, skirting around stuff, whatever, but you don't out and out lie to your customer. I was there. What is provided for dinner is something they're not able to do. Okay. So what was she delivering to all those tables? It wasn't water. It was mixed drinks. Well, what were the tickets that she was giving out at the end? That was the bills for the mixed drinks. So yeah, this was not true. In any way, shape, or form. I don't know who I'm talking to in this email. But yeah, this made it worse. Because now, not only do I feel like I got SuperConned all weekend, but now you're gaslighting and lying to me about it. How does that make a customer feel? And that's when I came out in the next couple messages and said something about gold and silver members. About whether this kind of shit would happen to gold and silver members or not. Would they have told a gold member that paid $5,000 for a package for a hotel stay and all these special cars and stuff? Would they tell him he's not getting his cars? No. Would they tell him he couldn't have a drink? Hell no, they were the first ones that got their drinks. They were the first ones that got their steaks. And I understand that. They're gold members. But to have us basic VIP members on the exact opposite end of the spectrum? Yeah, that brought up feelings for me. Alright, I'm back. Sorry I had to take a little bit of a break from me and calm down a little. But this is the turning point. That's kind of why I took a break right there too. Because at this point, I was going back and then I did the clarify this is my first time there. So the fact that it's been issued on Saturday, as it always has been, does nothing for a brand new customer there for the first time. Again, pointing out that, there's going to be people like me that come in and don't know that it's released twice at a certain time on Saturday in all the past years. I had no idea about that. I had no clue. I just knew what the schedule said and that it was going to be released sometime Saturday. That's all it said. So yeah, he responded though. All right. With your tickets, you got one dinner car and one finale car. We can ship you the two finale cars you were saying you didn't receive and were scanned in as received. What is your address? Now, I'm happy at this point, but now it's two finale cars were scanned in as received. Before it was one of each. And before that it was only the dinner car. So yeah, I don't think they had a clue what I did and didn't get. So yeah, and this kind of proves it, and that's why I was so worried about the whole liar thing. It's one of the things I hate. I'm brutally honest with people to the point of hurting feelings before I will lie to you about something. So yeah, for them to still say that there was different information, etc., that bothered me. His next comment, there's a schedule that's posted online, and there's a schedule that's available at registration. It's the same schedule. when we went into registration, she had us pull up the one on our phone, which was the online one he was talking about. So yeah, there wasn't a separate one at the registration. She used our phone and had us pull it up. That's where I was trying to look for a location and a time, and we had to ask her for the location and the time, and she wouldn't give it. That's what didn't make sense to me. So yeah, like I said, I still don't know what happened with that. All right, so at this point, they're saying, please send us the address of the 2 finale cars. All right. Obviously, I was upset at that point, and I felt that he just said something to me again, so the wife had come in. She typed the next one. Thank you about the 2 finale cars. This is our first year at conference, so not familiar with all the process. Yeah, that was my wife. And I got mad at her, of course, because then I told her, by saying that, you basically just told them, or led them to believe, that we did miss picking up the cars. Because you're saying you didn't know the process. We knew we were supposed to pick up the cars, we just didn't know how or where. So, yeah, that caused a little bit of an issue, I think. All right, so this last one, let's look here. March 2nd, 11:57 a.m. Okay. Next one is me 6 days later. At this point, I've given them the address and they said they're going to send the finale cars. It's been 6 days. I'm still wondering if they're just gaslighting me or if they're just sending them because they don't want to deal with me or if they actually believe there is something wrong. I don't know. I don't know what the case is. So I messaged them. Checking for the finale cars. Is there a tracking number? Received a reply back quickly. 4:24. 6 minutes later he replied. This is why I also brought up the thing about, I don't know if this is a call service maybe? Returning emails or something? Because, yeah, if I remember right, the 8th was on a Saturday, if I remember right. And yeah, it's 4:30 in the afternoon and somebody's texting me back in 6 minutes. So yeah, that's why I said I don't know who I was talking to this whole time. I don't know if it's several different people or if it's just one email, a call center of some sort or what. I have no idea. Anyway, he says they would send you a shipping invoice once they are ready to ship. Once paid, they would generate a ship label which will be emailed to you. Okay, but there's still no time frame, no date, no nothing. They'll send me a shipping invoice once they're ready to ship, so they can email me a shipping invoice once they're ready, but I was told they were sold out, right? So does this mean they're making more? Or do they have more there and they weren't sold out? I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me. So, obviously, I'm still worried. So, any idea how long approximately? SuperCon was 2 weeks ago. All right. Told you there was a second message where I reared my ugly head. And I was kind of a jerk. I don't normally do that. But, like I said, options, audibles, and recourse, I wasn't left with anything in this situation. There's nothing I could do at the SuperCon. Here it is, been another 6 days after they said they were sending them to me, and I have heard nothing. And I send that, and I was feeling bad about it, but I hadn't received anything back, and I was spiraled down, obviously, because I was still thinking about it, and I hadn't received anything back about it, and it's been 6 days, so yeah, here we go. I'm sorry, but this has been absolutely absurd to have all this happen. And 2 weeks later, I still don't have them and no date known. The lady refused to give them in the first place, and I still don't know why. Do you have any idea how upset one of your gold or silver VIPs would be if this was done to them? I know I'm not a big Diecast channel or a sponsor, but I really didn't expect to be treated like this, and frankly, it's infuriating. Someone send me the cars. Evidently, basic VIP is nothing to you guys, so we may not be going again in 2026 now. It's unfortunate as I had some ideas for the show, but after this, it would be hard, if not impossible, to talk the wife into what I had thought. And that was part of the whole, maybe getting a printer, a 3D printer and creating stuff, and a couple other ideas I had, which I'm not going to say now, but there are other accessories and stuff that I didn't really see a whole lot of options there for that surprised me. I really thought I'd see some like high-end wall cabinets and stuff for diecasts, like my wood one that I have built with sliding glass, plexiglass doors. I thought I'd see something like that, and the only thing that I even saw remotely close to that was one of those spinny majig things. It held 30 cars and it was tall, but it was something you had to sit on your desk, and it takes up 10 or 12 inches on your desk. Well, that doesn't work, I have more wall space than I do desk space. And it was $130 and only stored 30 cars. So yeah, there was that. So yeah, I thought there would be some kind of wall cabinets or something. They did have some of the acrylic boxes like what you see off Temu or AliExpress or whatever, but yeah, I didn't want those. I wanted something nicer, and yeah, they didn't really have anything. So yeah. All right. So this is when they finally said something that actually made me feel a little bit better. It didn't piss me off too much. So, somewhat. There is part of this that pissed me off, and I'm sure you'll realize it as soon as I read it. All right. You would definitely get your 2 Mustang Greenlight finale cars this week. We are sure you understand it's Saturday, non-business hours. Nobody is here to process anything for you. The team just got back middle of this past week as they deserve time off after working 19 days straight. All right. I understand the whole business hour, Saturday, nobody's here to process anything. I was surprised. This, like I said, this is why I don't know if it's a call center or who the hell's answering me, who I'm even talking to. It might be a fucking computer program for all I know. I don't know. But this is at 9 o'clock on a Saturday. I was right. It was a Saturday. It's at 9 o'clock on a Saturday, and the guy's still talking to me. Unfortunately, he said the next sentence, which he should have just left out, and this would have been a perfect message. But he had to add it. So, once again, I'm thinking, okay, yeah, all right. They're on the way. They believe me. It's all taken care of. And then he says, please understand this is a one-time exception. The schedule and tickets are very clear. If you miss your pickup time, you miss your cars. Again, I already told you how I feel about the whole pickup thing. It's bullshit. I paid for the fucking cars in the first place. I was there to pick them up. And then you say this again. The schedule and tickets are very clear. Yeah, I had the fucking ticket. Problem was I didn't have the right ticket for that car. I had the ticket to turn into her, and I had the receipt that showed that I paid for it. But yet I still didn't get the car. So yeah. This one-time exception bullshit, it wasn't an exception because it wasn't my fault in the first goddamn place. This is another one of the things you do not say to a customer. That was just, it was perfect until he had to put that last dib in. Once he did that, it blew the whole fucking message. What was the point of even sending it? You reassure me or reconfirm everything. And yeah, I understand they're working 19 days straight, but then you're going to go and say, this is a one-time exception. Well, it's not really an exception in the first place because I didn't miss them. And you're about to see that in the next message. The proof that I gave to them that once they read it, and why it took me so long to think of it, I don't know. But yeah, once I read that message, everything's going to make pretty crystal clear sense from my side. I still don't know why I was denied. That's something on their side. Maybe they'll figure it out. I don't know. Honestly, I don't care at this point. It's happened. It's over. I have 2 boxes of something here. I don't know what it is. So we're just going to go with it. Whatever. All right. Next message. And yes, this is where I got mad because of what he said at the end. I still don't think you understand what happened. I didn't miss the pickup. I asked the lady Friday morning when we arrived when we needed to pick them up, not Saturday when they were to be picked up. That's when she told us we didn't qualify. Despite wearing our VIP passes at the time, she just handed them to us when we registered, and showing the receipt saying it was paid, because we had to show her that in order for her to give us the VIP passes. And no other explanation reason ever given. I was there Friday to Sunday. It wasn't that I missed the car pickup. Then there were the dinner issues on top of it. I haven't done a review yet in hopes the cars would arrive, but then you sent the message saying that they were at a company. The number would be sent when shipped. At that point, I'll be honest, I got mad as hell. It just feels like since I'm not a huge content creator or sponsor related, it doesn't really matter. That may not be true, but after everything that's happened and no cars still, it made me wonder if I was going to get the cars at all, or was just being told something to quiet me down. I now honestly wish I had made more of a scene, as maybe I would have gotten an answer in the cars then, talking about at the SuperCon, then instead of you still thinking now that we somehow caused all this. So yes, I'm sorry, but I'm extremely upset about everything. That's also why I said what I did about the VIP levels. It is what it is. At this point, just get them to me, please. And then, of course, I thought about the whole 19 days off, and they've been, and I said, and yes, I understand it. They just got back. No problems with that. And it really bothers me after all the messages that you said I missed the pickup. If you still aren't sure I was there, hey, it cut off part of my sin. Oh, this is supposed to be the rest of it here. It was saying if you still aren't sure I was there on Saturday, to check Bad Guy Productions, Paul Udelis' live stream, where he was talking to me. I was on my way to meet him finally. I'm Gargoyle from the YouTube. The Gargoyle is in Diecast. Hopefully that will show you I was there. Then, my last message. Not because I was spiraling at this point, because pop, the light came on. All this time I've been sitting here trying to prove to these guys everything that happened. And trying to figure out how to solve everything and get this taken care of so it doesn't happen to somebody else. And the most obvious thing is cameras. They have freaking cameras everywhere because of all the cars. I remember seeing them in the registration room when I went to look at the cars while my wife was signing the registration stuff. They have cameras all over that place. They should have had a camera to be able to see me at the bar with Paul on Saturday. They should have been able to have a camera to see me and the wife talking to Eric Estrada when he was getting ready to be seated, right? They should be able to verify I was at the dinner. And they can verify who I was talking to Friday morning that told me that I didn't qualify. Yeah, so that's what I told them. I wrote, not sure why neither of us thought about one thing. If you still don't believe all this, check the security cameras in the registration room Friday morning when we registered with the lady that told us we didn't qualify. She was the one we registered and showed receipt and VIP tickets to, and I know I remember cameras in there while looking at cars. Then Saturday morning, I met with Paul at the bar with his live stream. Then Sunday, right for dinner, you see me and the wife talking to Eric Estrada. It says, so I don't know what else I could possibly show you that says I was there. But as you see, it's probably even more important that I am not a liar. And that's the biggest thing. Because, yeah, at this point, that was my whole thing. At this point, I thought, I've been SuperConned. I got screwed out of 2 cars. They're supposedly sending them, but I haven't seen them yet. It's been 6 days. So obviously they're not in a hurry to send them. Now, hold on. Hold that thought for a minute, because remember, we have 2 boxes now. So, yeah, the first box that they sent me has a date of the 1st on it, March 1st, which means, or was it March 1st or 2nd? The 2nd. It was when we started this. It was the same day. So, I don't know if that's my 2 cars. I thought that's what it was. And that's why I was saving it to open at the end of this. But then the second box showed up today, a week later. So now I'm wondering, did the first box only have one car in it? And they sent the second box with the second car? And for some reason they sent them separate? Or is the second box, like I said before, some other car just a thank you or apology or whatever? I don't know. So yeah, the first one may have been sent already and they just never told me. Here it is, the 9th, 7 days later, and I'm still wigging out about it because I don't have anything. So yeah, I don't know when they sent that first box, really. I don't know if it got lost at USPS because the second box showed a 1-day time frame in the time that it took to get delivered from the next state over, but the first box was like 6-7 days. So I don't know. It doesn't really matter, but that was my biggest thing, is I didn't want to be a liar. That insinuation went entirely too far. If you personally know the Diecast Media Network guys, the podcast they did, well, they know the dinner right after we got back, I spoke with them and they apologized for how I felt and the wife felt. Not because anything was their fault. Not because they had a bad experience there too. They had a great time, But I mentioned to them that, I wasn't sponsored by anybody. I don't have a boss paying for my ticket. I paid for it out of my pocket. They admitted they didn't have to pay for their tickets. They're influencers. So it may have been different for them. So they apologized to me for how I felt because of SuperCon. Not because of anything they did, just because they felt bad that I'd been looking forward to it and all this happened. And the most awesome part about that is, it wasn't their job to apologize in the first place. So yeah, the fact that I never got an apology from the SuperCon people at all, unless that's what's in one of the boxes. But they apologized, the guys from Diecast Media Network. That was impressive to me in the fact that that's the kind of community that I'm looking for when I was coming into this hobby. They are more of a pig hunting group. They do collecting, don't get me wrong, but they talk about a lot of pig hunting and stuff like that. They're not into the actual modification and customizing of cars on videos and stuff. So yeah, they are another subsection, I say, of the Hot Wheels community. You got the pig hunters and some collectors, and then you got customizers, etc. And then you got some of the table games, like Gaslands and stuff. And then you got those who do the racing, the weights and all that stuff. So the way I look at it, it's split into 4 different subsections as far as the hobby goes. Well, let's be honest, the SuperCon really only covers one, and that's pig hunting. There wasn't anything for the racing people other than one little baby track that the kids got to play with at the very front when you walked in. There wasn't anything for Gaslands or table games or anything. And, there wasn't really anything for customizers other than wheels. Other than that, there wasn't. What about supplies, paintbrushes, airbrushes, paint, sanding sticks? All the supplies that we use for everything. Gauzy, flits, So that's another thing that I was surprised. There wasn't any of that stuff there, as well as like the wall racks and other shit. So that's why I said, to me, the SuperCon wasn't all inclusive. Because yeah, it did leave out some sections of the community. And those could easily be filled by a little bit of entertainment stuff and, some food stuff would be good too. And that will in turn bring and keep more people that, once they've walked around for an hour and spent, money on their high-end cars, they don't have much money left. You didn't have anything to do to keep them there at that point. But if you've got, say, a stupid area set up where people are racing just for the fun of it, or playing a table game off to the side and just hanging out and talking about stuff, they're going to be more apt to stay. And the longer they stay, and this is a known business fact, the longer you can keep them in your venue, the more money they're going to spend. So it's a win-win for you if you do it. But that's just another idea that I had for you guys. And if you use it and run with it, great. If you don't, that's fine too. But I at least wanted to put it forth. All right. So yeah, I told them all that. Going through here. Yeah, well, we know about the nerd. Right after we got back, I spoke with them. Okay. Oh yeah, they said they were going to mention it to someone. I don't know if they did or not. That's all I got. Hopefully you can actually verify and know I'm not some kind of scammer or something. Like I said, I was still worried about the liar thing. I didn't want them thinking I was just trying to get them to send me cars. And that's kind of my worry now that I got the second box. Because they may have sent the first box and they knew that, but they never said it. And I hadn't received it yet, so I didn't know it. So I'm still complaining. And then they send a second box, maybe? I don't know. I'm still confused. I guess we'll find out when we open the boxes here in just a second. So, all right. Hopefully you guys are not some kind of scam or something. I said, oh yeah, this is part 1 that I did right when we got back from SuperConned. I was still hoping this was going to be okay. Part 2 soon. And I gave them the link to part 1. Now, like I told you guys, one of my biggest things was I wanted to see if I got the cars. But I also wanted to give them a chance to rectify the situation in any way, shape, or form that they could. And just the fact that they sent me some cars was enough for me to calm down at least. I'm not happy that it happened, obviously. It obviously isn't ideal, and I don't feel I was treated right. But I also don't know what the real cause is. I don't know if it was really just me seeing the entry car the first time, and that was enough to throw the lady off. But we had the tickets that we showed her on the receipt, paid in full, and it said what came with the cars, and she still told me it didn't qualify. So that's somewhere around there is where all this started. And that's where it all led back to, basically. Because, once we got to this point, and I brought up the cameras, they could verify I was there the whole damn weekend. There's no reason that I shouldn't have been able to get them cars. No reason I wouldn't have picked them up if I was there all day Saturday. I left for, I think it was an hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours, something like that, when I went over to Cant Customs to see the shop. And then I went to a little bitty car shop that it was right there nearby. It had a Flintstone mobile sitting out in front of it. Some of the people from the area probably know what I'm talking about. I don't remember the name of the shop now. It was in the first video, the cars in the shop in that one. So yeah, then he sent back, nobody is questioning anything about you being there. Thanks. Of course, after that, this is the first time they probably did a good job in just stopping what he was saying and not going on. But yeah, I was still pissed. So yeah, I had to say fine. As in, I had to get the last word in. Damn it. But yeah, you told me not to miss them again. That implied it's still my fault all this happened. So yeah, that was a big sticking point for me, obviously. The liar thing, telling me it was my fault all this happened from the get-go because I didn't pick up the cars. Despite the fact that I didn't know where they were going to be or what time they were going to be there. I knew what day they were going to be there. But I didn't know where or what time. And I didn't know what to do about it. If you guys wanted to comment in the comments, those of you guys watching this, what would you have done at this point? What would you have done different that I did? Enlighten me, please. Because yeah, I was lost as far as what to do. I was lost when I left SuperCon because I didn't know what to do because I didn't get any service there. I didn't get taken care of there. And then I went through all this and it was getting worked out, but it was like a 2 steps forward, 3 steps back thing, or 3 forward, 2 back, if you want to say. It was slow going. It still took 2 weeks. So yeah, I was still upset that they were still implying that it was my fault from the get-go. It was, at first they blamed it, or we thought they were blaming it on the wife, saying that she didn't order the right thing. But then we checked the ticket receipt, and yeah, she had ordered the right thing too. And then you're still implying that it was because I didn't pick it up, that I missed them on Saturday. Well, now I've proved that I was there all day Saturday still. So, all right, he replies, "Good morning, James. The shipping team provide tracking for your 2 Mustang Black Bayonet finale car." Oh, wait a minute. I didn't see that. That I did not see. That's not the car that was originally the finale car. I thought it wasn't the Black Bayonet car, was it? I thought it was like a silver. Maybe it's the silver one has a Black Bayonet symbol on the top of it. I just remember seeing it from the side, and it was a silver Mustang. It's like an 80s 87 Mustang or something like that, I think. So yeah, I'm not sure if this is even the same. I don't know if it was the Bayonet car or not. Anyway, they will be picked up today. Now this is the 10th. This is the second box. So what's in the first box? Is it these same cars? And they sent me 2 sets of them? Or was this their way of saying, we apologize and we're going to send you something? They still didn't apologize, but they sent me something, so I guess I can't bitch about that, right? I don't know. So I replied, "Awesome, thanks for the update. Sorry if I've been a jerk, but this whole thing has me on edge a bit, and other than reaching out via email, I had no other recourse to figure out what and why. Anyways, I'm calmer now. Thanks for helping." And I finally put it to rest. Yeah, I know. This is a long one. Sorry. All right. Let's figure out the part, because, yeah, now if I have 2 sets of cars, I'm probably going to contact them and see if they want me to send one back. Just because I'm not a scammer. I don't want the people to think I'm a scammer. And hopefully I've proven to everybody that it wasn't lying about anything. They can verify it all on video. So where is my blade at? All right. Sorry, I had to find the knife. All right. Yeah, see, this one is on the 2nd. And then this one is on the 10th. So let's set the 10th over to the side and let's open this one. He says in his message, the one he sent on the 10th is the 2 Black Bandit cars. Is this going to be the same thing, is the question. Do you have peanuts? Now, if this was just one car, and they sent the second car in the second box, I'm glad I didn't open it, because, God, I would have been mad if I had opened this and just had the one box, because I hadn't received the second one yet, and it only had one car in it. That would not have been a good situation. But yeah, I don't think that's the case. It's still pretty solid for the one car. This is 2 cars. Huh. Yes, it is black. But yeah, this is the one I was thinking. It's a 92. It's not 80s. I was thinking it was late 80s. But yeah, it's the old Fox body, square body style or whatever. That's right. So yeah, I don't know what's in the second box, but yeah. Now this brings back the question, they said they were sold out. I have a hard time believing that they made 2 more specifically for me, or 4 more in this case, if that's the case. So I don't know. I don't know if this is one of the things where they said they were sold out and they had a certain amount set aside, kind of, when it came to the dinner truck, they told us there was dinner trucks numbered to 400. There really wasn't. It was the box that was numbered to 400. The dinner trucks were numbered to 1250. So there was an extra 750 of these trucks that were put in the dinner box that were made, which is, we only had 400 dinner people. They made 3 times as many trucks as what they needed so that they could turn around and sell them, I guess. Which, I mean, I understand they're a business. They did offer everybody the extra trucks that they had that was there. If they wanted, you could purchase them for $100 a piece. And honestly, if I would have had more money, I probably would have bought a couple and tried to flip them or whatever. But at the same time, I don't like doing stuff like that, especially as high priced as some of the stuff was going. The only reason I was doing it with this is because I was doing it with the second set so that I could sell it to further the cause. So, yeah, I don't really like the whole scalping thing or reselling for the most part for that reason. Because a lot of times it's just scalping, it's not resellings. All right, so we figured out the first box. Let's see what's in the second box. Now, with this being said, if this is going to be the same 2 cars as that, I'm going to feel a little bad. Yes, they never apologized. And yes, they didn't tell me that they had already sent them, if that's what has happened. So I didn't know they were already on the way. They just said that they were going to, and they had never sent me an email yet. So I was wondering where they were. That's why I reached back out 6 days later. So let's see what's in this one. Let's see if it's just me being impatient and they didn't tell me, or if this is something different. Either way, I've got my cars, so I'm good. I'm not hating on them. I told you guys this wasn't a bash video, and I meant that, Yeah, there was a lot of bad stuff that happened, but my hope is, that they'll see the video, take into account what happened, figure out what caused it, and keep it from happening again. That's all I'm asking. As far as ideas and stuff, those are just ideas. We'll see what they come up with for SuperCon in the next year or two. All right. Yeah, this is 2 more cards. I'm guessing they probably sent a second set. So now the question is, do I contact them and send it back? Or do I just say screw it and keep it? Or I don't feel right doing that, I don't think. I mean, yeah, it's been one of the things I did complain about to them was, it's 2 weeks after SuperCon. I still don't have the second car, and, every day goes by, the value of the cars go down because, they've been out a couple weeks now. Not as many people are looking for them. People forget price starts to drop. That's how eBay works. So that was the other thing, I could still sell the set, but at this point, the dinner box, when they first listed right after SuperCon, because I looked at it because, yeah, that was my original plan. They were going for $400 to $500. And they kind of dropped down. You could get them for $350. Now you can't even really find the dinner box. I think there's 1 or 2. But the main ones that are still posted is the double trip that the guy got for $4,400. There's one of those for $10,000. I don't know if it's the one that he got there at the auction or if it's one that somebody else acquired somehow, because there's supposedly 10 or 15 of them made, I think it was, that I read. I can't remember now. There was quite a few of them made. It wasn't just a one-off or anything. So, yeah, that one was like $10,000. And there's another one that was like the guy that got the poker chip, I think. I think it might be his, or it's another one like his that was listed for, I want to say $3,000 or $4,000, I think. I can't remember now. It's been a couple weeks. But then, yeah, the last week or so, you see some of the trucks, but they're all like 150, 200, 250. But the boxes, the dinner boxes, are still going for 300 to 400. So my original plan was take the dinner box with the car in it, add one of these, and sell it for as much as I could. So I don't know if I'm still going to do that at this point, though. So we'll see. I may just sell them separate because I know I can still get decent money for the dinner box, and just sell one of these separate and keep the other one. I don't know. Let's look in here. I have a feeling it's just two more of these left. Dolby. And it is. So yeah, that is the exact same thing. So now I kind of feel like an ass at the same time because, I contacted them back because I hadn't heard anything. They hadn't emailed me like he said they were going to let me know that it was on its way at that point, the first box. So yeah, that extra week of stress was all undue. That was another thing that, if I would have been told it was on its way already, I would have been a lot calmer and we could have avoided probably half of that ranting and raving that I did because I would have known it was on its way. But yeah, 6 days later, I still hadn't heard anything. So then he had to turn around and send them again. So now I've got two sets, but I feel like an ass about it. And you guys probably think was trying to rip you off or something or lie to you. And that wasn't the case. So I'm going to, just so everybody knows, I'm honest, brutally honest. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to send them a note asking them what they want me to do about this. If they want me to send them back or if I'm just supposed to keep them. If I keep them, I'll sell them. I mean, I don't need 4 of this car. Maybe I'll keep 2 and I'll sell 2. Maybe that'll make up for some of the price drop, maybe. It would make up for the price drop, probably, yeah. Because, these aren't real expensive in the first place. They're not like the dinner car was. But yeah, they're still worth something, so. Yeah, that's the thing that I need to do. That's just the way I am. So I will contact them and ask them how they feel about it, and we'll go from there. All right. Well, I hope this came across not too harsh, I guess would be the word for it. Like I said, people warned me that this could still cause a black mark. And if that's what happens, then that's what happens. I've always told you guys I was going to tell you the truth about stuff. I'm not going to lie about things. I'm not a bullshitter. I'm not going to sugarcoat stuff. I'm going to give it to you the way it is. And this is one of them times. As you can see there was issues that are my fault. I called it the wrong car in the very beginning. And that may have screwed her up. I wouldn't think it would, considering they were printed on the ticket or the receipt, but I don't know. I could have made a scene, but, I don't want to embarrass my wife for one. I wasn't worried about people getting mad at me. Don't get twisted on that. Because, yeah, that wasn't the issue. But at the same time, I wasn't trying to ruin her weekend, and she was already crying because she thought she'd just ruined mine. And like I said, I can't handle it when my wife cries like that. There's been a few times that I've made her cry when we've argued or whatever else. But to see somebody else make her cry? Yeah. That's another PTSD thing, it's a stand-up thing. Nobody's going to attack somebody that's near me. No. So yeah, that brought out a lot of anger. But through it all, I'm not blaming it all on them. Because yeah, I had issues, and of course I have my issues anyway. And I still don't know for sure what happened. It could have been her at the very beginning. It could have been just that somebody was marking stuff down in a book and marked stuff wrong. And when whoever I was talking to went back to check the book, all they could go off was what they saw, right? Or it could be the other thing that I said, and this is some call center that has no clue, wasn't even at the show, has no idea any of the stuff I'm talking about. Somebody else told them that, yeah, they would have had to go get drinks or whatever, They didn't know. That's the only one that makes sense for the outright lies that were told in the first message. Is that if it was a call center or somebody that had never even been there. Other than that, I have no excuse for that one. And I'm not going to attempt to come up with any more for that. It doesn't matter. I got the cars. I'll contact them back and we'll get it squared away. And hopefully, they take all this into consideration and this doesn't happen to anybody else. That's my biggest thing. It ruined my weekend. I got my cars though. I'll wait and see next year what they do. At this time, I am not planning on going next year. Like I said, it's not all inclusive of the hobby, in my opinion. It's a good sized convention, but it's not a super convention really. Super conventions are usually more all inclusive. For instance, I told you guys I worked in the billiard store doing recreational supplies and stuff, and yeah, we went there and there's 2 floors of stuff, and it was everything for the hobby. I mean, anything you could imagine in a rec room. Pool tables, air hockey tables, foosball, soccer games, video games, pachinko games, pinball, slots. We had everything. They had everything. We were able to go through and get parts to stuff, everything. It wasn't just the actual product that it was focused on, which would have been billiards tables. It was billiards and rec room supplies. So that's just ideas for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it's been a really, really long one. I apologize, but as you saw, there was a lot of details and a lot of twists and turns. And for me to try and tell you the story without providing them notes and everything, people pointed out to me that, yeah, it would have been pretty unbelievable. And yeah, that wouldn't have worked for anybody. And nobody would have watched it and paid attention to what happened. So I needed the details. I needed the facts to show that I wasn't lying, more importantly than anything else. And to show that, I'm honest. I got 2 sets of cars now. I'm going to contact them back. I'm going to do it actually right after I stop this video and post it. So that was probably the most important part of this video. And that's why this is so long. I wanted to make sure I gave every detail. And like I said, I didn't want to put out this video until they had a chance to rectify the situation as well. And for that, I appreciate them. Special shout out to Diecast Media Network and Chuck, guys. Yeah, you guys and Jim Silva. Shout out to Jim. Jim helped talk me down through all this because you guys know Jim. He's a happy-go-lucky type, and yeah, he just kind of joked around with me and he let me unload. Is basically what he did. Him and Diecast Media Network. So yeah, special thank you to both of them. Thank you guys. If you guys don't know who they are or not subscribed to them already, please check them out. Diecast Media Network and SilvaCustoms. Jim Silva. Until next time, that's all, folks. Bye now.